Excellent. Okay, let me. Okay, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you enjoyed playing this Veterans Day or Remembrance Day, depending on which side of the border you are. Um, I'll be going over a few of the hands that you played this afternoon. As always, I'm happy to go over the other ones. I haven't seen the other ones, but I'm happy to give a quick analysis afterwards once I've gone through the hands that I prepared. So let's go through these ones. The theme for this lesson was should I draw trumps or not? Um, we're giving examples on both sides, but in general, you want to try to draw trumps. There's a very old saying that the streets of London are littered with penniless people who fail to draw trumps. I don't think it's going to be quite that bad, but it's awkward when you forget about a trump and then they suddenly ruff a winner and you go down when you don't have to. Having said that, there are a number of cases where you don't want to draw trumps. I'll go through some examples. And there's another one, the first one that I'm doing, which is an example where you think you might not want to draw trumps, but you really do. So I'm going to go over that one first. That's hand number two. So let's go over some bidding. I understand 2/1 is becoming more popular, so I'll put the standard auction first, and then I'll mention what I think a 2/1 auction should be. So standard or the opening bid doesn't change. East is going to open one spade, pass. In standard American, this is a two club bid. It's a minimum for a two club bid, but it's 11 high card. That's enough to make a 2/1 response. So two clubs pass. East rebids their suit. I think West has about 11 points. You like the King of Spades a lot, but still, let's invite. If your partner's open as weak as I do, then you want to make sure that you don't go to a horrible, horrible game. But East has a 14 points. They're all aces and kings, and the King of Clubs, which is partner suit, that's a really big card as well. I'd say it's 14. You've shown six spades, so I don't think you can really add points for length there. But I think it evaluates to about 16 points. And that's enough to get to game opposite the 10 the partners promised. So four spades, pass, pass, pass. If you are playing 2/1, then the West hand isn't good enough to bid two clubs. That forces to game. So you'd start with a no trump with the West hand, which is a forcing bid, um, can go up to 12 points. Then the auction will be the same: two spades, three spades, invitational, four spades. That's the other auction. I think I put that in the lessons. So, but anyway, East is playing four spades. And I think that the South hand, this is an auction that says we should really be trying to attack and set up our tricks quickly. Because they've got a side suit of clubs, you don't know whether it's running or not, but there certainly is a threat that they're going to pitch their losers on their good clubs. So let's try and set up our red suits quickly. Having said that, the Queen of Hearts is so attractive that I'd leave that on almost any auction. So on the Queen of Hearts, so let's count losers first. Um, East has one spade losers if they break, two spade losers if you're a bit unlucky. Uh, you're certainly going to lose one heart, but the Ace of Hearts is now known to be on your right. So you have two heart losers, no club loser, and one diamond loser. That's four losers, but the good news is you can probably you can get a pitch on clubs if you've got enough time and they don't rough it. So on the Queen of Hearts, North should definitely win the ace. So we it's you want to win the ace mostly in case declare has a stiff king, but it's always embarrassing to let declarers win stiff kings. And they might as well return their fourth best. So we win that. I should. Now, is there any reason not to go after trumps? No, there's nothing you need to rough and dummy. So let's play a spade. Nobody plays anything interesting. So let's play another spade here. Now you'll notice after this that dummy has no more entries except for clubs. If you don't do anything, and just, oh, let's go, great, we've taken their low trumps. Lots of times when they've only got one big trump left, you just leave it alone and go about your business. But if they might use that trump to stop you running your suit, you want to knock it out. So if you just went after clubs, which is fairly reasonable, now the problem is that they rough the second club, and you've still got to lose a heart and a diamond. So this is one where you wanted to draw their low trumps, but you also wanted to give them the jack of spades. It doesn't really matter what they pitch. And they can cash a heart. That's fine. But now when they shift to a diamond, you can win the ace. And I think you can see you've got the ace, king, queen of clubs to pitch your diamond loser. So this is one where you not only wanted to draw their low trumps, you wanted to give them their high trumps so you could run your side suit clubs. The hand could have been a little more self-evident if I'd changed it a little bit. But the safe play is to give them their high trumps while you still have the control of the other suit where you've got a loser. And then you can run your side suit and get it going. So if you made four spades on this, well done. It was not it's not an obvious play to give them a high trump. Most of the time you just let them take care of that themselves. This one you wanted to give them their high trump, so you had control of that, and then you could run clubs. All right. That was that one. The other three ones are going to be don't draw trumps. I'll let you in on that now. But so the next one I had as a lesson hand was number 4. Okay. So this one, it should be an unopposed east-west auction. I think one no trump is pretty barely 15, but it's 15. Pass. This hand is 12 high card points, so you're probably not thinking about slam, but you do want to play a 4-4 spade fit if you can. So I think you bid 2 clubs to ask, pass. So first question is, what do we do with both majors when we've opened a no trump and partner asks? Originally when Stayman was first invented, you were supposed to bid spades with that. There are more advanced systems where it's necessary to bid hearts, and it pretty much doesn't make a difference as long as you and your partner are on the same wavelength. So I think every textbook teaches now that if you have both majors, you start out bidding hearts. There's a reasons for doing that, but they're sort of beyond the scope of this lesson. So West should bid 2 hearts, pass. I don't think there's much point in introducing this diamond suit. There's not enough points to think that 6 diamonds is going to make, and you don't want to give them information about your hand. So I think just bid 3 no trump. Now, because you bid Stayman, you must have a 4-card major once you've bid 3 no trump the second time. So West knows that East must have 4 spades because they went through Stayman before bidding 3 no. If they didn't have a 4-card major, they would just bid 3 no right over 1 no. So on this auction, West should be able to comfortably go back to 4 spades. And because their partner didn't have 4 hearts, they didn't raise hearts. So they must have 4 spades because they bid staven. That's what I suggest the auction should be with this hand. If West bid 2 spades instead of 2 hearts, there's no harm done on this board. East will just raise to 4 spades. But standard nowadays is you bid hearts with 4-4 in the majors when partner says stamen. All right. So anyway, let's presume that West is playing 4 spades. They lead the jack of clubs, which they always praise this, that you put up the queen of clubs to be decapitated because it's instantly covered by the king. So now your losers are, you have 2 clubs in from, if the West hand is the master hand, they have 2 clubs, 4 heart losers, no spades and no diamonds. You can certainly easily rough a club, but it's going to be problematic to, you'd have to give up 2 hearts before you started being able to rough hearts in the East hand. It seems like it's a better chance to, let's try and set up the diamond suit instead. If you notice, all the trumps except for the 5 are high. So you're not too worried about roughing a diamond as long as nobody has a singleton diamond. You're not too worried about roughing a diamond because they can't overrough you. So you don't want to draw trumps here because you might have to rough 2 diamonds in the West hand. We're going to try and make the East hand the master hand. That's one of the advantages of 4-4 fits, is you can make either one the master hand. And if one of the hands has a side suit that needs to be set up, as a generalization, make that the master hand. And if you need to rough to set up that side suit, you can do so. So after it goes jack of clubs, queen, king, I think we win the ace, and I think we just want to go after diamonds right away because we're going to use the trumps as sort of transportation. So king of diamonds and a diamond to the ace. And we rough a diamond. We hope they're 3-3, but we know our luck. They never are. And so pitch a heart. Now we can do this. We can play a spade and win it cheaply and dummy. And we can rough another diamond. Let's win the ace. And they pitch again. Now we can draw trumps. We can overtake the queen of spades. That's probably okay. If trumps are 4-1, they're going to get more tricks anyway. So we overtake that. The 8 of spades is high. Now we can cash our jack of diamonds. And you can see that, and the 5 of spades is going to become trick 10. So the point on this one with respect to the lesson is if you just drew 3 rounds of trumps, you're depending on diamonds coming home with 1 rough. You'll only be able to rough diamonds 1 time. Most of the time, suits are going to split 4-2. Sometimes you might get lucky and the queen of diamonds drops doubleton, or they're 3-3. But you want to plan for diamonds being 4-2 by not touching trumps at all. If you do that, you can rough a couple of diamonds and set up East diamonds. If you don't do that and you draw trumps, you won't be able to set up the diamond suit. If you try roughing your hearts and clubs in the East hand, the defense has to lead trumps at some point to stop a complete cross rough, but you're going to have to give up 3 tricks before you do that. As long as they don't do, let's undo this. As long as they don't do second hand high, like if declare led a low heart at trick 2, North had to make sure they don't rise with the king of hearts. That's just going to set up, now the queen and the jack aren't touched. The king of hearts just catches air, is the way that I like to put it. But if you play second hand low, which should be your default, now the defense controls the heart suit for the most part. As long as they lead trumps a couple of times, they should go down in 4 spades. So four spades is a tricky one to play. There are a few choices, but I think the best line is to try and set up diamonds. And if you're going to do that, don't go after trumps too early. You're going to need them for transportation and to rough a couple of times. So that was that one. All right. We're zipping through these ones. Okay. Next one. All right. So this was another one that was somewhat tricky. So let's see. What do we have? Okay. So again, South is going to open a no trump. Pass. North has 10 points, but they want to tell their partner they have 5 hearts. So the first step is let's bid 2 diamonds. That says I have 5 hearts, maybe more hearts. We don't know anything about strength. East should pass. South has a nice hand and they have nice hearts, but you usually just want to just accept the transfer first time. I don't think this is worth showing diamonds as a second suit. It's okay to do so. But you're not interested in slam that much. And you've got a pretty balanced hand. So I think North should just bid 3 no. Pass. This is close. You know you have a 5-3 heart fit. So I suggest for now you just automatically let's play the 5-3 heart fit. This one's close to just passing 3 no. You do have everything stopped. But I think in general, you want to there's an 8-card fit. Play the 8-card fit. As we get more advanced, you learn there are cases where you know about an 8-card fit, but you want to play 3 no anyway. But I don't think you want to worry about that too much right now. Concentrate on finding your fit in the majors and playing there for now. So I think this is how the auction should go. If North bid 3 diamonds, probably will end up the same way. It'll go 3 diamonds, 3 hearts, 4 hearts. But if you Jacoby, one good point, if you Jacoby and then bid a second suit, that's forcing the game. Make a Jacoby transfer, sorry, and then bid a second suit. That's forcing the game. 5-5 or 5-4. Usually some thoughts about slam, but certainly enough to get to game. So once you make a Jacoby transfer and then bid a new suit, both people should know you're getting the game somewhere. Let's work out where. And it might end up in slam. Having said all of that, let's see what we want to do on pass. And so West is on lead against Hearts. I think the Queen of Spades is nice normal lead. Club lead is makes it a little more challenging. But so losers are, let's start out with having North as the master hand because they have the long trumps. North has no heart losers, no spade losers, maybe 1 diamond loser, and 2 club losers. So the good news is we're going to make this. Now let's start thinking a little bit about over tricks. We're not in too much danger. We'd like to be able to rough this if diamonds are 3-3, we're going to make 11 tricks. But one line that is worth considering is, and this is a common one, leave 1 round of trumps outstanding. If the person with the outstanding trump is also long in diamonds, then you'll be able to rough the other diamond. So we play the ace, queen of diamonds. Sorry, let's follow. Queen of diamonds. If say the west hand had the 8 of hearts instead of east, they'd have to pitch. Now we could rough our 4th diamond, get back to dummy, and draw the trump. On this hand, it doesn't hurt. East roughs the 3rd round of diamonds. And then in the fullness of time, you'll be able to rough the 4th round of diamonds later. You'll lose 2 clubs and you'll make exactly 4. That's okay. I think that's the second best line. The third best line is just to draw trumps and hope diamonds split 3-3. We can do a little better than that. But let's go back to the front. Back to the start. So the best line is what's called a dummy reversal. And the key to the trigger that should let you think, oh, I should start thinking about a dummy reversal, is you want to rough something with the short trumps, but there's a reason not to. In this case, the reason is they would be able to rough the third round of diamonds. And what a dummy reversal is you rough enough with the long trump hands that they become the short trump hand. On that way, you don't have to rough the card in the south hand. You're going to rough all of the cards in the north hand. So I'll show you how that works. So we win the queen of spades, and our plan is we're going to keep roughing spades and dummy, get back to our hand, and then eventually we'll get back to our hand to draw the third round of trumps. So you rough a spade. We can cross back with one round of trumps. We're going to need, you could survive using clubs and diamonds as transportation, but it's best to, we're going to be drawing two rounds of trumps. So let's use those as transportation. Again, rough a spade. And let's play another heart. We hope they break, and they do. Now we rough one more spade. That's our last spade gone. And we still have to draw a trump, but we can get back to our hand pretty easily. Now we can play the queen of hearts. And you can see we've got the ace, king, queen of diamonds to make 11 tricks. If diamonds happen to be originally 3-3, this would make 12 tricks. So this is a more advanced declare play than either of the other two hands. Dummy reversals are relatively rare. But there's hands where you want to convert the hand with short trumps to being the master hand by shortening the long trump hands so many times that you gain a trick that way. That's if you can't rough in the short trump hand, you rough enough in the long trump hands to convert the master hand from one hand to the other. That's another reason not to draw trumps. If you need to do a whole bunch of roughing, you want to keep those trumps available, partially to rough and partially for transportation. This hand, it's a dummy reversal. Should get you up to 11 tricks. If I don't know if anybody did actually make 11, but that's how you have to make 11, unless the defense makes an error. You won't be allowed to rough the fourth diamond. All right. So that's that one. And let's go on to our last one. Okay. Excuse me. Should again be an unopposed auction. Pass, pass. South has 18 high card. They shouldn't open a no trump anyway, and they're too strong. So they start with a club. Pass. So this is another one where bidding has changed a bit over the last 20 years or so. It used to be that you would respond with your longest suit when partner bid a club and go from there. Nowadays, the problem is that if you bid a diamond and they start preempting you very rapidly, you might lose a 4-4 major suit fit. So with 4 of a major and a longer diamond suit, now, whoops, sorry. Okay, let me get that back. I hope. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me get that right back. Okay, sorry about that. So after pass a club, pass. If you've got 10 or fewer points, always bid your major instead of diamonds. Don't worry about diamonds, concentrate on your major suit fit. If you've got a stronger hand than that, then you can introduce diamonds because you're going to be able to bid your major the second time. You'll show a stronger hand, but but you can also show diamonds on the way. It helps partner evaluate. But with a weak hand, what I call a one bid hand, you plan to bid once and then be quiet unless something interesting happens. Uh, you bid your major. So I think on this hand nowadays, North should bid one spade instead of bidding one diamond. You'll get in, you might survive if you bid a diamond, but the auction becomes a lot cleaner if you iron out the major suit fits right away. So one spade pass. This hand is 18 high card points. Probably add a couple more for the diamond singleton. I think it's enough to get to game. Um, Especially because you know your partner's going to be looking at weak trumps. They're not going to be comfortable bidding over three spades with weak trumps. So I think four spades is probably the right call. If you play splinter bids, four diamonds is okay. It's like a four spade bid, but you have a singleton or void in diamonds. Either way, North is not going to be interested if in anything, and they'll just will end up in four spades. All right. So lately, the king of hearts here. How did I want to play this? So again, this is a similar one. With a 4-4 fit, you can make either hand the boss hand. You don't. The problem is you're going to be if the south hand is the boss hand, you're going to be roughing hearts and roughing clubs. You might try taking a club finesse. Um, it's probably better to try and look at these diamonds. The big point is you don't want to draw trumps because you might be cross-ruffing this whole hand. Let's see how it goes. I think that the best line here is we want to win the ace of hearts. We want to cross to our hand and play a diamond early. It's going to set up a diamond trick when the ace or the queen is on side, presuming you can guess them correctly. And that's going to be one more trick that you otherwise didn't have. So here they win the ace of diamonds, and let's have them. They'll probably cash a heart, and they'll probably try for another heart. Now you can pitch one of your losers on the king of diamonds. That's great. I think a heart is probably the right one to pitch. If you pitched a club, it's not too bad. And now we still want to rough cards in dummy. This one's close, but I think let's concentrate on making this. We rough a club. There's still the queen outstanding, so on good days, good things happen with trumps. So we'll try roughing the jack of clubs, but on this hand, they overruff. You've still got the king queen of spades to make four. But on this hand, this is another one you didn't want to touch trumps too early. Again, it's mostly because you sort of want to rough back and forth. You'd be okay. No, you needed to rough too many cards in the north hand with the little trumps. That's why you didn't want to go and draw three runs of trumps right away. It would have been a tougher hand if I put the queen of clubs in the west hand so that the club finesse lost. But still, if you ended up making four spades one way or the other, I think you did well. It's another one where you don't want to draw trumps because you're going to need them as roughs. So I think those are ones where those are most of the examples that I wanted to present where you don't want to draw trumps. Lots of times you need it for communication purposes. you need it because you're going to be roughing in one hand or doing a cross rough or a dummy reversal. Um, there are many hands where you don't want to draw trumps for one reason or another. But having said that, there are plentiful exceptions, but there are exceptions to the rule. The rule is you should tend to draw trumps when possible. So I think that's what I had for the lecture for the four hands. I see a note in chat, so I'm happy to go over a hand. Number 11, bidding. Okay, will do. All right. So south is the dealer. They pass. The west hand's sort of awkward. It's not really good enough to open one club. It feels like you want to preempt in clubs. I don't think, but our most likely game is probably 3-no trump. So if West opened one club, I'll do that second. But I think this is a 3-club preempt, even though you have one more club than you plan to have. Mostly because I don't want to get past 3-no trump by opening 4 clubs. I don't really like pass. It always seems counterintuitive to I have too many cards in my suit to preempt. That always feels wrong to me. So I sort of tuck my 2 of clubs in my pocket and open 3 clubs. Um, it's a close choice. I'll after I've done the 3-club opening, I'll go with the other opening. So if West passes, West opens 3 clubs, North has to pass. This one's close. It's 15 high card. You hate the fact that you're void in clubs, but the 3 clubs might be worse than if you make a call over 3 clubs. I think 3 spades is right. I don't think 3-no is the right call. Your best chance for a game is to get a partial spade fit, ideally an 8-card fit. But I think 3 spades is right. It's close between that and saying pass. I don't like 3-no trump. It's almost certainly not going to make. Your partner's clubs are going to be useless. If partner has some spade support, you might make 4 spades. So I would bid 3 spades, but it's close. Pass. So the West hand, I think, given that they've preempted that we know that you don't preempt with a side 4-card major. So East is mostly looking for 3-card spade support. But I think 2 to an honor and a singleton and a side suit, that's the equivalent of 3-card spade support. So I think if East bid 3 spades, I think that the West hand should raise to 4 spades. Not crystal clear. You might be playing a 5-2 fit like this one, but the fact that you've got a roughing value in the side suit leads me to let's play 4 spades instead. That should end the auction. If sorry, if oh dang it, if West chose to bid 4 clubs over 3 spades, I think East should just not try any further and pass 4 clubs. But that's my suggested auction. I think the East hand should open 3 clubs with their, even though they have 8. I think the East hand should try for a spade bid. It might get you a level too high, but you might get to 4 spades making where even 3 clubs was going down. So a new suit opposite a preempt is forcing, unless there are a couple of people that play it as non-forcing, but it's a rarity. We teach that it's forcing, and almost everybody who you play with will play that. That's what I would suggest doing on that hand. If East opened 1 club, Sorry, I scrolled by the board again. Um, I think it should end up in spades again. A club, a spade, east, two clubs, two diamonds, three clubs, three diamonds, and now the West hand knows their partner is 5-5 in spades and diamonds. They can go back to show a preference with three spades, and East can bid four spades. So even though there's not an 8-card major suit fit, I think the East West hand should end up in four spades. The heart stopper just isn't good enough unless partner shows something in hearts. The heart stopper isn't good enough to play 3-no. And on the actual hand, a South had Ace Jack 10 fifth of hearts and North had King third. So 3-no goes down. Four spades should make you lose two hearts and a spade, and you can ruff a diamond. Again, sorry that we haven't gotten there. But I think that most partnerships who trust their partner and get there should be able to get to four spades. It would be reasonable for East to pass three clubs. But I don't like opening four clubs with West because it gets it past 3-no, and that's your most likely game. All right, folks, I think that's it for my lecture. If there's anybody who wants to go over any of the other hands, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, I'll wish you again happy November the 11th, and have a good day. I hope to see you on Thursday. All right, let's stop recording.